Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pine Cove Farm here in Farming Simulator 19 with me, CWATTYESO. The sorghum harvest is completed. I've got the sorghum in my trailer. I'm going to go sell that right now. I've also got the field fertilised, so that's ready now for, I do believe it's ploughing. Ploughing is required next, so I need to plough that field before I can plant my next crop on it. But we're going to see what we get for selling this sorghum. See how it should be good money. It should be good money. Because the crop is worth about $1,500, I do believe, from just looking on the price screen. Over here at Fenton Mill, which I've not been to yet in this particular series. So, I'm just wondering how I get there. There's a road. There's water. Fenton Mill. Alright, I've got to go out there then, that side. Okie dokie. This makes things a little bit awkward. As I say, it's not a sell point I've been to yet in this save. None of my contracts have had me drive all that distance. But anyway, you will notice from the clock in the top right hand corner of the screen that it is Wednesday the 21st of July at 9:30 in the evening as I record this episode. I have watched the first night of FarmCon with Giants, and they talk about, obviously, Farming Simulator 22. I'm not going to go into terrible details on the first night, because the first night was pretty much just an introductory sort of thing, telling you what FarmCon was going to be about, the real gameplay stuff, the real actual let's look at Farm Sim 22 up and running doesn't happen until tomorrow evening. Today we learnt about their obviously new publishing and what self-publishing the game is going to be, why that's going to be beneficial to them. I'm sure for probably most average gamers, they weren't particularly needing to know anything about that. They didn't care. It's nice to know that they're self-publishing and they're now fully in control of their IP, their game, and the future. And whatever they do with the game in the future is 100% their choice. But yeah, that's all there really has to be said about that. The introduction to the production stuff, the self-publishing stuff. They then obviously went into quite a bit of depth talking about the cinematic trailer and how they developed that, and again, I think most average people just didn't, most people watching the stream just didn't seem to want to hear about that. You know, I mean, the trailers are nice, don't get me wrong, the trailers are very nice, they're nice to look at. The intro video to Farming Simulator 19 was really nice. However, the common argument is that the graphics in the trailers aren't a reflection of the game. When you get in the game. And also, as most people probably do, they probably disable the intro videos of the game so that the game loads straight to the main menu when you click the button to launch it. You don't have to sit there through all the intro video. I know I do. I know I've disabled all the intro videos and all the logos and adverts and stuff when you first launch the game. So it's one of those things I'll watch once the first day I get the game and I've installed the game and I launch the game, but I'll never watch it again after that because I'll be skipping it. We then learn all about, obviously, the new seasons element of Farm Sim 22, and that did that was a little bit interesting. A lot of the, obviously, if you've played the seasons mod already in Farming Simulator 17, Farming Simulator 18, a lot of the graphics in the menu for like the calendar and the planting cycles and that look very, very familiar if you've ever used the seasons mod. The difference is, obviously, in Giant's version of seasons, we don't have spring, summer, autumn, winter. We have months. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We have 12 months in our calendar. Every crop has its own particular months that it can be planted in and harvested in. Giants have said the wheat and barley are winter crops in the game, so you can only plant those in the winter months, harvest them then sort of in the spring, or you plant them in the late autumn, in the autumn months, and you harvest them in the spring months, and then the other crops fall in at other points of the years. So yeah, it's all a bit interesting. Now to get also, so because of that, every in-game day in Farming Simulator 22 also represents 1 month. So 12 days, you'll have gone through a whole year's cycle on the map if you play. Okay, you cannot change the length of seasons like you can with the seasons mod. There's no, there's no 9-day seasons. There's no 6-day seasons. There's no 12-day seasons. There's no 15-day seasons. There's no 24. There's none of that business. It's 12 days. That's your year. 1 day equals 1 month. 1 in-game day equals 1 month of the year. The only way to change the length of time and to change the length of which seasons plays out in your game is to actually change the in-game speed, to go in and change your time scale. If you want seasons to be longer, you're going to need to play on a lower time scale. You're going to have to slow the clock down to make your days longer, to extend your months. If you want to play seasons faster, you play obviously with the clock faster. So the days go by faster. The days are quicker and shorter, and you can get less done. So that's how you will control seasons in Farming Simulator 22. Now, what they didn't explain, or what they didn't say or tell you in the actual FarmCon stream, but they have now put in a blog post on the website, is that you can turn these things off. Originally, in the FarmCon stream, they said it was part of the game, and that was it. You would have to play it. They didn't say, oh no, you can turn it off. They said it was part of the game. It's a little bit more simplified and accessible than the Seasons mod that everybody knows. And Giants felt it was better for the player base to put that in the game rather than leave it out. They accepted that, some players don't like it, but they've got a lot of players that do, and because they're actually moving into new markets and they're going to be attracting new players to Farming Simulator 22 for the first time, because they're going to be selling the game in some places where they've never sold the game before, now that they are self-publishing, they've got a chance to bring on a whole load of new players for the first time ever who have no experience with Farming Simulator. So now they're a great candidate to basically force seasons upon, because they don't know any other way. So initially, having watched that stream, myself and a lot of other players who aren't big seasons fans were really not happy. We were like, so you can't turn it off then? You can't turn it off, you can't disable it. You can't play without it. You're forced to play with seasons in FS22. And And there was a bit of a Q&A after, obviously, after the stream on Giants Discord, where, again, I believe the question was asked a lot, and they ended up getting the guy who actually is responsible for doing the season system in FS22, who is actually one of the guys who actually has worked on the seasons mod in his spare time. So one of the Giants, again, for people who know, a couple of the Giants developers who work on these very games, in their spare time are responsible for making the seasons mod that we know from FS17 and obviously know from this game. And so it makes obviously sense that when Giants decided that they were going to be putting seasons into FS22, they would have the guys that worked on the mod in their spare time working on the version for the game in their professional time. But with the obviously idea that they need to strip it down a little bit, make it a little bit simpler, you know, keep it, you know, try and make the people who don't like seasons actually want to give it a shot, kind of thing. So they got that guy into the Discord thing, and he was talking about it and stuff, and that, and then after a little while of obviously people going back and forth and a bit of arguing, breaking out in the chat and everything, Giants did come out and say, actually, you know what, you can actually turn off seasons. You can turn it off. You can turn off various elements of it if you want. You can go into the game, you can turn off the different lighting. So the custom lighting where the lighting and textures on the map change as you go through the year. You can turn those off if you don't like it, so your map just stays all nice and green every single day. You can turn off the snow if you don't want snow as a weather option in your save. You can turn off the planting stuff, the planting and harvesting stuff, which means you can still have the transitions of, you know, summer, spring into summer, into autumn, into winter. You could still have snow if you wanted snow, but you wouldn't have any restrictions on what you can plant when you can plant. You could then play the game pretty much like we do now in vanilla FarmCon, but actually have like the different changing in the days and the scenery and the texture, which I think personally, for me, that sounds like the cool sort of middle road, the sort of middle ground. I like to see the map changing from day to day, month to month, throughout the year, so it actually does look like a living, breathing world. But at the same time, I don't want restrictions on what I can do when I log on to the map and log into a save, you know. If I want to go and do harvesting now, I can go and do harvesting now. I haven't got to sit there and wait 6 months to go and harvest a field. You know, I can find a field on this map and go and harvest it. Same as if I want to plant a field now, plant a crop, I can do so. Again, I don't have to wait till the correct month of the year to do it. So, yes, I love the fact that after a bit of, you know, badgering and a bit of arguing and a bit of complaining, Giants have actually turned around and said, yes, you can turn off seasons, because they weren't going to. They weren't going to tell you could. They wanted everyone to just totally embrace it. And there are a lot of people that don't want to embrace it, don't want to play restricted and limited in the game. They just want to log on the game, muck about with tractors and stuff and have fun. They're not trying to be real farmers. They're not trying to simulate real farming. You know, they're just playing a video game. And the fact that you can still do that, because you can turn off everything, you can mix and match the settings, you can make your own hybrid versions of seasons. That's fantastic news. You can kind of make your own hybrid gameplay by turning off different elements of it. That is brilliant. It's also good to know this year that anything related to seasons, anything at all, including the weather, the crop planting, the growth periods, etc, 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 the climate, the temperatures, all that kind of stuff, all of that is now built into and controlled by the map. What that means is you no longer need geos. There will not be geos. Because the map author, when he makes the map, will set all the season stuff. He will set all the season stuff. So you won't be playing with geos. You won't be messing up maps by playing geos on maps that weren't meant to have geos on them. That had their own built-in geos, like in FS19. Some maps have built-in geos. And then some players are going to put their own geos on the top of, because they want to change where the map is based, or simulate that the map is based in a different part of the world, and it breaks it, and then they're complaining that the map's broken, seasons doesn't work properly, blah blah blah. So Giants have said, right, we're not going to have that issue in FS22. When a map author makes a map, he will make all the geo stuff in the map, and it will be the map that controls all that stuff. Won't be any external mods required to do the climate and the weather and all that business. It will be set up and done in Giants Editor on the map level. So that's a little bit handy. You won't have to download additional mods when playing seasons maps, because as I say, it's all going to be built in at the map level. So yeah, it was quite an interesting evening, this first look at FarmCon. And then obviously they ended tonight's show with an in-depth look at precision farming, where it stands currently, where they plan to take it in the future. And obviously they had the guy from John Deere there who's heavily involved in a lot of the real world initiatives around precision farming to try and make farmers work smarter and, you know, in a way that is a better, you know, a better impact on the environment and their local surroundings, as well as also being financially beneficial to themselves. You know, a more sustainable farming approach in the long term. Lower the impact, the negative impact that farming has on the environment. Do with a lot of like the fertilising and things like that. One of the elements they talked about in the stream, in the FarmCon stream, was like weeding. He brought up weeding, and the John Deere guy said they are working on technology currently for their equipment and machinery, where they will have cameras on their machines that when they're driving on fields will detect, will spot the weeds, and then the machine will only apply the weed removal process, where if it's a mechanical weeder or if it's a sprayer or whatever, it will only actually apply it to where that weed is. The machines won't do the whole field like we see now. They will literally just target the actual weeds. They're going to be that specific so as not to have the negative impact on the rest of the land, the rest of the ground. They're not going to be spraying excess chemicals into the ground than they need to if they're doing herbicide or insecticide or fungicide or anything like that. It's all going to be, like I say, precision farming. They're only going to do what they need to do. That's so, yeah. I know a lot of people, certainly when I was watching the stream, looking at like the Twitch chat and everything, I mean, honestly, I don't know why they don't just turn that off. So many toxic people in the world, you know, so many spammers and stuff like that, and trolls. It's just ridiculous. But the more sensible conversations that I've seen take place in like the Discords and the forum and everything, I think people are looking forward a little bit to the new game. We got to see the collector's edition as well tonight. We got to see the beacon light in action, working. how it's going to look if you've bought the collector's edition of the game, and how it turns on and off when the beacons in the game turn on and off, or the hazard lights in game turn on and off. Very, very, very interesting. But as I say, tomorrow night, Thursday night, is the really big night, because that's when we actually get to see the game running. We actually get to see someone playing the game, and we get to see what improvements have been made to what we're going to see and what we're going to experience. From some of the footage we did see tonight, we saw footage of a guy from one of the guys that's made the American map. The American map that's going to be in the game at launch. They obviously had an interview segment with him where he was talking about how they do certain things on the map, and why they have to do certain things in the game, and why certain things look the way they do, to try and, you know, make sure they've got the performance there and everything. That was quite interesting, because again, the first thing I noticed when they went in and was looking at the map view, if I zoom out, there's a good example there. A good example here. If you look very closely at the field with crop on it to my front right, and then also to the soil field to the front left of me, you will notice the texture changes on that field. There's very nicely detailed crops and weeds and stuff that you can see on the first part of this field in front of me, and then all of a sudden there's a little bit of an arc that goes across the field, and beyond that arc the texture goes to one flat colour. And it's the same on the dirt field to the front left over there. You've got this nicely kind of detailed, cultivated texture on the field in front of me, and then all of a sudden there's an arc, a line running across the field, and beyond that it's just one sort of grey colour, the field. One's texture. There's no detail. And that was one of the things I noticed straight away in today's stream when the guy was talking about the map. The circle around the tractor, around the vehicles, where you had all nicely detailed textures around the tractor, but then beyond that, very flat, boring, one colour, one texture looking stuff. So unfortunately, the magic circle in Farming Simulator, this little circle that appears around tractors, like you can see on this field, look. This field's been harvested. It should be, obviously, dirt that I have fertilised. So it should be like a dirty, harvested, there should be a soil texture with some stubble on it. And that should be all the way. But down at the bottom end of the field, it looks like I've got crop on the field, because the field is all yellow. It's all cream. Still looks like it's got crop on it. And as I drive down the field, that'll disappear. Now, again, it could just be that obviously the guy in the video today, we saw the default in-game settings. In that video where the guy was showing you around the map and everything. If those are the in-game default settings, everybody is going to want to edit those and try and raise that view distance and that texture distance up, because I don't think it looked very good. If that was running on PC, if that video was being recorded off of PC footage, then that is very poor. I mean, I would expect the game to look like that on consoles, because of obviously consoles being nowhere near as powerful as PCs, not having anywhere near the performance. I would expect view distances and textures and stuff to look a bit different on the consoles, and the view distances and the texture details to be a lot shorter distanced to decrease the performance, to increase performance, should I say, and, you know, keep the frame rate up. But I really don't like seeing it on PC. I really don't like that on PC. So I imagine we're going to be able to go into the settings files like we do now and just edit that and bump that up to whatever our systems and PCs can manage and cope with. I really hope we can. Because, yeah, I don't like that circle effect. You can see it now as I'm driving forward on the field 3. The weeds and stuff come into view more as I get closer to the field, and on the bits of the field that are further away, it's just one solid green, one texture. So yeah, didn't like that, but as I say, we'll probably see better tomorrow when we are actually seeing the actual game running tomorrow. I can't wait to see some of the gameplay stuff and just see what some of the new stuff is that we are going to be able to do come November. What new exciting mechanics they put in the game for us. I'm sure they'll go over the production chains tomorrow. They'll probably cover that in the stream. And then of course Friday's stream will then obviously end up being all about like the modding, Giants Editor, what changes have been made to Giants Editor to assist the mod makers and map makers, and what are some of the new things that you're going to be able to do with your maps and your mods. So that's all interesting to look at. But yeah. Oh, it was also interesting to know, Giants, obviously we're talking about the release of the game, and they've said that anyone who pre-orders the game will be able to download and install it before the launch, so like preload, but everywhere will only be able to, the game will only unlock and be playable at a set time that's going to be for everybody. So it'll unlock at the same time for everybody, regardless of where you buy the game from. And they've also said this year they're not going to be confusing things with the pre-orders for the game and the orders of the game by having different versions of the game and stuff. So there is literally just going to be one version of the game available to order on your platform, whether it be PC, console, whatever, wherever you want to, whether it be Steam, Epic, you know, Giant's own website, doesn't matter where you order it from, you will get the same version of the game as everyone else. You'll get the same content as everybody else. So I guess in some way, although they didn't talk about season passes and stuff like that, I guess that's basically Giant's way of kind of saying we're not doing a season pass at launch. So for those of you sitting there waiting to see if we're going to be doing a premium edition of the game or a game plus season pass option on your preferred place of purchase, wherever you want to buy it from, it ain't going to happen. Not at launch, not for launch. They probably will release the season pass later on, I'm going to guess. A couple of months after launch, maybe when the first DLC comes out. When they release the first DLC for the game, they'll give you an option to either buy it on its own, or at that point you can buy a season pass and commit yourself to all of them, all the DLC, and give you the option. But certainly for the February 22nd launch of Farming Simulator 22 on its own, you will not be buying a season pass. There will be no options to get a season pass, and it doesn't matter where you order the game from. No one's going to get any different versions. No one's going to get any different equipment. No one's going to get any additional bonuses. It's exactly the same. So it's Farming Simulator 22. It's the class saddle track vehicle as your pre-order bonus, and that's it. The only way you get anything, any additional stuff, is if you buy the collector's edition, and that's all physical stuff. Stickers, posters, a flashing light. It's nothing game content. The collector's edition doesn't have any different content game wise. So there you are. Basically I've summed up an hour in an hour or so's Twitch stream in less than 30 minutes. Great summary, and in that time I've managed to get this field ploughed. I sadly didn't make as much money as I thought we was going to make from the sorghum harvesting, despite selling that big trailer load of stuff. How much did we actually get? 176,829. Of course, we do get the straw later on. We do get the straw from the BGA. That'll put our money up a little bit. I was kind of hoping it was going to pay out in time, that we would get to buy field 3 while it still had this sorghum crop on it that I planted and got paid for planting. Because then I could totally harvest that and make a nice bit of profit from harvesting the crop that I planted on there and got paid for planting on there. Double win scenario. So there we go, one ploughed field. How much is field 3? Let's have a quick look. $1,001,757. I can't quite afford it. When we get paid for the BGA, we can. And the BGA gives us the money for the straw. We can afford it. So I need the BGA to pay me some money tonight. I'm going to have a quick look as well while I'm here at the horses, because they're probably going to be sold very, very soon. I'll have a quick run over to the horses. I'll leave the tractor in there. So this is the first pen, or the second pen. So all these horses are currently at 41,000 bucks. So they're a little bit over halfway trained at this point in time. We could effectively sell them now, of course, cash in now halfway early. These are the ones that are not quite. They're at 63,000 bucks. We need to wait and see, really, on that front. Right, what we're going to do is I'm going to put the old fast forward button into gear then. See if we can't get the old BGA to pay me some cash. Still got the Fenton Mill tagged. Biogas plant, 130,000 income. And $32. $132. Right. That seals it then. Buying field 3, everybody. Field 3 is now mine. It's not fertilised, but it has got weeds all over it. Okay then, well, I guess we get the sprayer out. Go do some fertilising. try and get something out. I'm not going to get herbicide done. I'm not going to get weeding done now on that field. But at least I can start the fertilising process and get a little bonus the yield. But yeah, we're going to have a sorghum harvest off that field, which therefore changes my plans now for what I'm going to be planting on field 2. So if you want to see what I'm going to plant on field 2, you need to come back and join me in the next episode, everybody, because that's what we'll be doing. We'll be getting some stuff planted. So thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you like my little recap of FarmCon. By the time you get to see this video, though, because of how far I've recorded in advance, you'll be like, FarmCon? Oh, I remember that. That was that thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. Oh, well. It's just the way it goes. For me to have the videos recorded and scheduled in advance, I need to record them and schedule them in advance. I don't work hand to mouth. I can't record a video and release it today. It would put too much pressure on me to get that sort of thing done. So I don't operate that. I'm sure there will be some streamers and YouTubers out there desperately right now making something to try and release today so that they can try and get some of those clicks and try and get some of those views, and you know, the desperation on them, on their faces right now will be unbelievable. I don't play that game. You will watch this video when it releases and you will enjoy it. You'll like what I've said. You'll enjoy the conversation. No doubt if you got any questions or comments about anything I've said, you'll leave them in the comment section down below. So until next time, everybody, I've been CWATTY. This has been Pine Cove Farm, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye for now, everybody. Cheerio.